school's about to be back in session. And if you're a parent like me, you want to prepare and make sure you can equip your kids with the best tools for success as we all navigate distance learning from home. Here with the perfect study guide to ace this year's back-to-school course is Brainly parenting expert Patrick Quinn. Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Aubrey. Thanks for having me on.
So if our kids are stressed out, I'm stressed out about the upcoming school year, what are some things parents can do to build some excitement and ease those concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. We all are. Parents, teachers even. I know a ton of teachers who are stressed out trying to figure out what's going to be happening. Getting them excited is super important, and doing things that you would normally have done anyway with the kids, doing the back-to-school shopping with them, even if it's on Amazon, picking the stuff that they want, getting them their outfits for their online learning. All that stuff will just build excitement for the first day of school. Also reminding them that they're part of the ongoing project of figuring out what the heck we're all doing on this new frontier.
Right, so those rituals, those are important to keep some normalcy. Now, here in California, kids are starting out the new school year online. At my house, I cleaned out their desk areas, made a little study area. We got some new supplies. What else can parents do to really make sure that their kids are going to be set up for success from home?
Yeah, setting up the spots like that is super important. My wife and I had a big argument with our kids who really, they thought that learning from home meant in their beds, on the couch, in front of the TV. So we had to let them know they're going to be sitting in front of an education command center. It's a spot at a table or a desk where all of their stuff is, and it's totally dedicated to learning. So they know that when they're in that spot, they're there to be focused on what they're doing and not get distracted by things in their room or what their brother is doing or sister is doing off in the other distance. So it's really important to set up those spots and make sure that they know that that's just for being in school and not for friends.
Right, they've got to keep it clean and organized, right? I'm big on those daily routines. What are some important things that we should include when it comes to setting a routine?
Yeah, it actually starts the night before. Just like every other school year at the end of the summer, it's hard to get the kids back into a normal bedtime routine. And especially this year, because a lot of them aren't getting up to go off to the bus. But you don't want the kids to be waking up and then getting directly in front of the computer 5 minutes later. We all need about 40 minutes or so to kind of get our heads back on order, get some food into us, and get ourselves ready to actually accept what's happening. So setting up a normal bedtime routine, getting the kids up about an hour or so before school, so that they're eating, getting their teeth brushed, getting dressed, getting ready. That stuff is super important. And then when it comes to the classes, make a board, write out all of the schedules for each class, for each student that's in your house. My wife did it, and it's been working perfectly because the kids are reminding themselves all the time when they need to be back in front of the computer and not off around the house.
If you have any tips on making them go to bed without complaining, I'll take those too. But how can our parents ensure their kids don't fall behind?
Oh, there's a ton of, being on top of them as best you can while they're doing their work is obviously the most important. Being there for them when you can, but we all can't all the time, especially when we're working from home. So in order to help them to not fall behind, getting them set up for success with things like putting tabs on their computer for dictionary.com, thesaurus.com, things like that to make sure that they know those resources are there when you're not and when the teacher's not. And brainly.com it's been a lifesaver for us. It's a free resource. It has over 250 million users a month. And what it is, it's a community of learning where kids are helping other kids with subjects they might be struggling in. They just don't give out answers. There's moderators to make sure that the kids are explaining the way they get to the answers. And it's just been a lifesaver because the kids can go and they can ask the question and have somebody their age explain what it is and how they can get to those correct answers.
Right, speak to them in their language at their level. A big part of the online learning is using devices and tech tools, like you said. Besides Brainly, any other resources or tricks that you can recommend?
If you have multiple kids at home, make sure you get them the headphones with the noise canceling because we're not going to be able to set up kids in different rooms and they might be talking loudly or one kid might be doing an online gym class while the other kid is sitting there doing math. So if you can really block out a lot of that noise, then that would really be a huge thing. So just that kind of hardware to get them set up is really great, and making sure they have all the normal stuff. The computer, obviously. Make sure they know where their chargers are. Make sure they know where the calculators, pens, everything. That should all be part of the command center when they're setting up.
Yeah, mom and dads will turn into IT tech support as well. Now, any ideas on how we can keep our kids social with their peers, even though it's at a distance? I know for my boys, that's a big deal to stay connected.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can, just try to set up maybe some Skype times or Zoom times with other kids that are out that are in their class. Make sure they're not only there just for learning, but maybe if there's downtime, set up a separate room where they can get in and chat. Things like some of the programs that would help the kids for the learning, like Brainly is a social program. It's kids helping the other kids, so they're able to get that kind of that deep dive. But Brainly did do a survey and found out a lot of kids are missing gym, and that was a surprise. That's one of the things they're anxious about, and they're upset that they can't go to gym class. So if you're around, go for a quick bike ride with them in the morning, stuff like that. Just keep them socially active, even if it's just within the family.
Get some of that energy, some of those wiggles out, especially while you can before the weather gets extreme. So do you have a top tip overall for getting our students ready to go back to school?
Top tip, man. The number one, I think, is just the schedules and making sure they're in bed in time. Because you don't want to wake up and start having the arguments back and forth. And always just remembering that and reminding the kids that it's a process that's fluid for everybody. Teachers are as stressed as the students, probably more so. And things are going to change. They're going to change pretty quickly for everybody, the parents, the students. So just to be accepting of that change and to almost expect it, because it's not going to be like this forever. So,
yes.
And we never know what the change might be. That'll be, let's all get back into class.
Patrick, I think you know what you're talking about there. For more distance learning tips, you can visit brainly.com.